So this is Jubilee's mission statement as listed on their website. We make human-centric videos that challenge conventional thinking, bridge people together, and inspire love. Wow. Our vision is to inspire a generation of change makers. The thing is, that's bullshit. Let's be real, all they are is just mindless entertainment aimed at the masses. Which is fine, but then don't dress yourself as this company that's leading some great movement to inspire social change or something. The truth is that their videos are impressively stupid. And in reality, they actually end up having the complete opposite effect of their stated goals, and all they inspire is for people to remain passively ignorant. So Jubilee, for those of you who don't know, are a BuzzFeed-esque media company who have been really blowing up on YouTube the last 6 months. Despite what they claim their intentions are, they challenge absolutely nothing, perpetuate the status quo, and take advantage of hot-button controversial political issues by using their heavily manufactured, corporatized, manicured brand of viral marketing to leverage these important issues into cheap views and clicks. If anything, they're actually causing active harm to the discourse surrounding these issues. They have a couple of series that are particularly bad in this aspect, and I'll explain why. Most of this stuff doesn't really interest or bother me that much, to be honest. I'm going to be focusing on the Middle Ground series and the Do X People Think the Same videos. Okay, so I think the argument they try to make to support the idea that they're changing society through love or whatever other bullshit is that they try to get in different opinions and expose them to each other and their audience. So we can all see that at the end of the day, we're all just human beings. We just happen to have different ideas. And this show highlights that we can learn how to consider new perspectives so we can grow not just as human beings but as a society. But the thing is, they're not really doing that. They give you the illusion that we're all considering different perspectives here, but in reality, if you're being honest with yourself, none of these perspectives can be delved into with any semblance of depth when it's coming from some average schmoes who have like a couple of minutes, if that, to get their point across. No one is coming out of these situations with any more knowledge or a new way of looking at things, least of all the viewer, when all you're getting are bite-sized versions of a way to look at the world.
I want to stick to what's made me happy, and my grandparents, my parents, I'm just going to stick with it because it works.
Yeah, exactly. This guy may have been more blunt or honest than the others, but this is essentially the attitude that everyone else holds as well in these videos. No one's core beliefs that have been built over years and years are going to be challenged in a substantial way by one of these 10-minute mix sessions hosted by some random fucks. The reality is that to get someone to question their own beliefs or to be open to listening to other people's perspectives can be a pretty long and arduous process. You need to break down some false premises, some false assumptions. They need to get acquainted with the relevant data. And on top of that, you need to appeal to them on an emotional and empathetic level as well. People are generally stubborn as fuck when it comes to changing their outlook on things they already accept as fact. Especially when it comes to broad, complicated topics that need to be hammered down to their core issues. And that takes time and effort. And it needs a persuasive, prepared kind of rhetoric that the average person generally isn't capable of. The structure of the show doesn't support good arguments and persuasive rhetoric that can help us understand different perspectives and each other. The only thing it supports is for people to speak in empty platitudes that don't really mean much, and that's not likely to persuade anyone who isn't already leaning that way. There's no way of understanding each other better when the disagreements are so fundamental. So within the format of this show, people have a hard time actually getting to the real meat of these issues. They usually just end up giving their 2 cents and talking past each other. Now that doesn't mean that this is an endeavor that's not worth pursuing, it just means you have to go about it a certain way. And definitely not the way Jubilee does it.
White people have culture.
What the hell does this mean? Like, this is such a loaded statement. It would take so long for everyone to get on the same page and establish in what context this statement is coming from, what frame of reference they're working under. And they have like 30 seconds here. Just look at their faces turn when they hear the question. How are they deciding whether they agree or disagree? This statement on its own means fucking nothing. How do you even begin to answer this without having more specifics? This is a great example of how the show makes it impossible for anyone to say anything of value. You know, I don't think that these videos actually bridge any gaps or divides that exist between us. It really just uses already existing divisions to get views. That's it. So that you can nod along with whoever you already agree with. And then you can go home, happy with the knowledge that you're an open-minded person and that you've considered different perspectives. And hey, look, you just happen to still be right about all the beliefs you previously had too. It deludes people into thinking that they've now engaged with different ideas. So nothing is really being challenged ever. Now the one possible exception to this is maybe the criminals episode, especially if you tend to be very punitive when it comes to crime. So they don't challenge people exactly the way that I'd like them to. Is that really so bad? Well, this was all before we even got into the Middle Ground series. Middle Ground also has the same issue, where the format doesn't allow for actual productive discussion.
Because of medical reasons.
That's like
a lot of time.
1%.
Right.
What's that, you're talking? No, time's up, bitch.
Oh, you got us.
I know, right in the thick of it.
She literally says right in the thick of it. Like they were just getting to the good part where they could actually start hashing it out and understanding each other or whatever. Nope, time's up, by the way. Yeah, this is really the format through which we really better understand each other and bridge gaps. Makes sense.
The way I want to, as long as you're not stopping. Sorry, you guys.
They're actually having to apologize because they're not actually getting enough discussion done. But also on top of that, the whole premise that some of these discussions, which can involve a literal doctor...
My name is David Epstein, and I'm a pediatric intensive care physician.
...talking to an anti-vax activist...
By trade, I'm a designer. I am also an activist and a mother.
Thinking that these two should come together and are expected to hash things out and arrive at a middle ground is fucking insane. You know, pretending as though they're both even arguing from the same reality? It's like this weird complex that people have that somehow coming to a middle ground on positions or treating completely insane views as though they're not insane is akin to being civil. Like if this is the level of discourse and discussion that's now being widely acknowledged, accepted, and legitimized, then where do we go from here? When you're propping up a group of people who just outright refuse to engage with reality, and you're asserting that these are the type of talking points that we should be encouraging and that we just need to compromise with each other or whatever else, like I feel like I'm living in a crazy world. And you never get to see the ugly implications of what some of these people's abhorrent opinions can have. You know, they always come off as pretty nice, reasonable, and cordial, because most people are in person. That doesn't mean that they have reasonable views that should be widely discussed on a platform for millions. By doing that, you're implicitly including their opinions into the realm of what can be reasonably discussed. And sometimes it has literally no basis in fact or in reality. And seeing people waste time on this bullshit and pretend as though they're challenging conventions in a productive way annoys me. The worst thing about Jubilee and all of this shit is that I feel pretty confident in saying that there must be some people within Jubilee, within their higher-ups even, who know what they're doing. They must do. Their content feels so manicured, and I don't think it comes close to having the effect of what their stated intention says. But hey, it doesn't matter, it gets the views. It all just feels insanely cynical to me. I mean, you just know that some media managers and soulless corporate heads came together and were like, hey, look guys, how do we take advantage of the political angst that exists today and make some viral videos while remaining entirely safe? You know, we gotta be controversial enough to get a click, but without conveying any substantial information and not really having a strong stance or a message.
I mean, you guys know our vision is that we want to create a movement of change makers for human good. And I think in a lot of ways, the success of Jubilee will not be visible for another decade or 2 decades. But I really believe that in 20 years from now, there could be someone or a group of people who are like, I did what I did. I cured cancer because a long time ago, I saw this video or was part of this movement that really instilled in me this idea of empathy and courage.
As we grew bigger, it seemed like some people thought we're some kind of faceless, soulless corporation.
Wait, you're not? Hey, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm still gonna believe you're a faceless corporation, even if you tell me you're not. Because you know what? The alternative is actually somehow even more depressing. If you genuinely believe in the things you're doing, and you've actually deluded yourself into thinking that you're this great force for good and you're changing people all the time, then I don't know. That's somehow even worse than if you were just motivated by profit. There's nothing inherently wrong with trying to go viral or appealing to the masses, but when you do it so blatantly, while taking advantage of controversial hot button topics under this disingenuous veneer of, ooh, we're challenging conventions and people's rationale. It's boring, it's safe, says nothing, and it tries to parade around as though it's doing something commendable. Like, fuck off, you sanctimonious pricks. You know what would be an actually interesting and challenging question to pose to your viewers? Why does a portion of our society keep voting in people who are literally exacerbating the process through which we destroy life as we know it on the fucking planet. There you go, there's a question for you. Jubilee's version of tackling that would probably be something like, climate change and climate denial. Can we reach a middle ground? I'm aware that I probably come across as a kind of old man yells at cloud sort of person right now, and I might be getting overly annoyed at what are just essentially harmless, fun videos. Maybe you disagree with me and you think that Jubilee do have really good intentions and their execution even is pretty good. I mean, I personally think that their execution is absolute trash and that it does nothing for anyone. But hey, having said that, you should subscribe to my channel and smash all the buttons. Smash it! Only if you're a gamer though. Alright, thanks for watching. See ya.